masterpiece. You want to start, Rebecca?
Yes, sure. So when I found out that I would get to publish a book of my poems, like pretty much the second that the publisher said, I want you to publish a book of your poems, after I asked Sarah to illustrate it, then I went through all of my old journals. So I've kept a journal since I was around 6. In high school, it was on my computer because it was titled History Chapter 62, but please don't look for it. but yeah, so I went through all of my old journals, and whenever I found a moment that really hit me, then I just immediately started like writing a poem and seeing what could come out of that. And I found that it was the moments that I hadn't processed a lot that I really wanted to write about. Because I have a lot, like, there are probably 3 journals filled with poems about this one girl I was obsessed with who did not like me back. But I did not write a single poem about her because she was scared I was. She messaged me, hey, did you tell people if you wrote poems about that? But I didn't write a poem about her because I had processed that so intensely. Like, it was really the moments that I read about. There was one where the poem Friendship Breakup, I read about this time my friend who was in the midst of friendship breaking up with me took me on this day for my birthday where she brought me to all of our favorite places in one day. And I'm talking like 6 different stops on this day. And when I read that, I was like, whoa, that was a goodbye tour. And I did not realize it at the time. And in my journal, I'm like, it was so nice. She did all these things for me. Like, but I think in my heart, I knew. I could see in the way I wrote it that there was a lot of sadness in my attempts to bright side it. So it was moments like that I really wrote about, and that was kind of the process I took. And it was hard at some points. It was really fun at some points, and it was probably the most fun I've had writing something because it was just so personal and it was really cool. So I wanted to ask Sarah, what was the process for you about making the art?
Well, when Rebecca first started, she was writing all of this in a Google Doc, and so I got added to the Google Doc, which was like, it felt really cool, and like I was getting into this secret little club, and I would go in there and just start reading and adding comments. This was my first time through adding comments, and then she started keeping up with me. So I'm like in the Google Doc writing comments as I'm reading, and she's responding to them as I'm going. I was like, you need to stop. You go, let me process this. And so then what I did, and I found these notes earlier actually, I went through each poem and I wrote down every emotion that it made me feel, every visual that came to mind, whatever I felt like what I associated with based on her words, I took note of. And sometimes it would be like immediately I would have the vision of what the drawing would be, and I would jot down a little sketch of it. And then after that, I went through them again with the notes and really honed in. Because we didn't want to do a drawing for every single poem, and I didn't want to do any drawings that were like too overt. Like,
I would always suggest the overt ones. I'd be like, why don't you draw a car? It's about a car.
Yeah. And I said I didn't want to just have a picture that went with it. I wanted to create an image that embodied what you were trying to reflect with your words. And so I would sit with the notes, and I would sit with the words, and I would kind of start to go through and cross out, which ones I felt like were, I wanted to draw all of them, but which ones I felt like, or I would start to circle which ones I felt that I really needed to draw, or I really needed to include the idea that came to mind, or whatever it might have been. And I also noticed as I was going that as your energy changed in your different sections, the style of my drawings shifted a bit.
Like the difference between like this one's from the first section, right? Mm-hmm. And then this one's from the third section. So you can see like she really changed it.
And they kind of like, as the different, and they're just line drawings, but you can see some are a little bit bumpier, and those are like during the harder times. And the ones for glitter and colors, which you'll see in the book, is connected along the pages, and it's two faces doing the same thing, smoking a cigarette, but the energy behind them is completely different. One of them looks nasty and just like angry, and then the other one has heart eyes and is a bit of a softer touch in the line and not as bumpy, a little smoother, and it's showing through that. I was trying to showcase how you felt when you were around these two different people who were smoking cigarettes. One of them was like, this is disgusting, I don't want to be around it. One of them was like, I am just starstruck by you, and that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And so I really wanted to get the emotion across in the visual aspect. So while you're going through the journey of the words, you're going through a visual journey that added to what was already created.
It's really cool for me to see, because just seeing a visual version of the poems is really special.
Oh yes, so tell us. So I did the drawing on the back of the book of the boots, but the front cover, this is Rebecca's creation. She had a cover artist finalize it, but she can tell the story about the cover because it's really good.
Okay, so people always ask, why is the Doc Martens on the cover? So when it kind of represents coming out to me, because when I was in college, early college, and I was first coming out just to myself, I would do a lot of internet research on how can I signal to other lesbians and bi women that I am one of them without showing anyone else. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna find a girlfriend, and then I'm just gonna talk when I have a girlfriend. It's gonna be really casual. Did not happen. But all my internet research came to one conclusion, and that is lesbians wear Doc Martens. So I went to a shoe store and I bought some I said, where are your Doc Martens? I bought some. I didn't even buy the black ones. The only kind they had was the sand colored one that looked more like Timberland boots. I don't know if you know what those are. Like a lot of hockey boys wear them. So I bought those. And there's a poem in here about like sitting in a cafe trying to like look gay, and that is really about this. I got those boots and I went to a cafe, and I was in that. I was like, this is a moment. I'm coming out right now. Wearing Doc Martens into this cafe, every single person in here is gonna know. Meanwhile, I'm probably wearing like my sorority t-shirt, skinny jeans, at the knee. But yeah, no one knew. But to me, it was a moment, and so I hope that I've been getting a lot of pictures of coming out party in bookstores all over, which is really cool. And my big hope is that someone's gonna see it from across the room and be like, yes, that is a lesbian book.
You wanted to feel seen so badly, and now you want others to feel seen.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are her legs.
Oh yeah, those are my legs. They're my sister's shoes. So the cover artist that like the publisher has, she sent me a mock-up and I liked it, but the boots were just not like, the boots were more like cutesy. I don't know how to explain it, and so I wanted it to be. So I like took these pictures and yeah.
The cover.
Yeah. So they're my legs. Sarah, this is my last question for you. Tell me about one of your favorite art pieces in the book and how you came up with it.
Favorite art pieces? That's tough because they're all like, I love them all. But there is one, I think it's more the connection of the words and the drawing. Because this was the first time I read through, this one stuck out to me and there were no illustrations yet. Out of Body Experience. And it's on page 21 if you want to see the drawing. And having a secret that pushes against my skin but has to stay inside means there's no room in here for me. I watch myself from across the room. And I felt that one so intensely. I had gone through my own journey of self-discovery with my sexuality and where I fell in the world. And when I was going through that, there was a lot of internalized fear, guilt, shame, and I didn't know how to talk to people about it. And so this is like exactly how I felt every day, day in and day out. You wake up, it's the first thing you think of. All day, your mind comes right back around to that. And you're not talking about it with other people, so you feel like it's trying to push out of you. And I just read this and I was like, oh my gosh, you have got talent. I went right to my partner, I was like, read this. I called my mom, I was like, listen to this. And then the drawing just came from it. And it's, to me, is, you know, the watching yourself, and your mouth, the mouth has a lock on it because you can't release it. And it's a tear kind of connecting in the chaos in the center. So I think that was a really big moment for me with the drawing process, reading that one and just instantly feeling it and knowing I knew how to put this into a visual.
I really like how you said like the chaos in the center, because I always have noticed that you have these, especially in these sections.
Yeah.
And that is how it feels. Like that's the chaos. That's the internal turmoil. It's really awesome.
So what about your favorite poem? Because you've got, they're all like your babies.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite
How would
poem.
you pick, but if you were to pick like, maybe the one that you enjoy the process of, or, you know.
Ooh. Okay, so I'm actually changing the one I was planning to do for this.
Okay.
So there's this poem called If in the book, and I didn't read it out loud, but it's basically, I spent a lot of time when I was younger just imagining, like, or when I was like in college and right when I came out, just kind of basically putting my own sexualities onto straight characters. So for example, like I love the book and movie Little Woman, and I just love imagining that Jo March is a lesbian and picturing like what it would be like, because I'm such a creative, like I'm always thinking of things, and so I just like, oh, like imagine if she had a girlfriend in the movie or in the book, like it would be so cool. Like I can just picture the whole thing playing out. And I did the same thing for Wicked, like imagining if Glinda and Elphaba were dating. Same with just there's so many things I mentioned in here, but I had so much fun with this poem because I was thinking about the reason why, because I would go back and see journal entries where I would write journal pages of imaginings of these things. It's like my own weird fan fiction that no one is gonna see. And I just think like part of the reason that I did that is because I was imagining like, what if, that's why it's called If, like what if I had seen that in the media when I was younger? Because I really didn't. I didn't see, I would say the one TV show that we saw with queer characters was Emily and Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah.
We had a big Pretty Little Liars
That was later
phase.
on though.
Yeah, but all of her girlfriends were horrible.
It was
one of the
negative.
girlfriends tried to murder her.
Yeah, it was a negative
One of
portrayal
them tried to
for sure.
drown her, and one of them died.
Yeah. Not the best.
And then also like, yeah, her parents were extremely mad about it. Like,
Yeah.
her dad was like a military guy.
And then they turned her into an evil character.
And then she was evil.
Like, come on.
So anyway, that was not someone I wanted to be like. And so this poem was just so much fun for me because I got to have so much fun imagining, like, in She's the Man. Anyone here seen She's the Man?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. Okay, but in She's the Man, I was like, what if Viola and Olivia made out in the soccer fields? Like, that would be so awesome. Like, it was just so much fun, and then in the end, I got to like have it have like a meaning. So I really liked that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think we hit all the
I
time.
know. I think that's all I have. We were wondering if you guys had. We can take like a few questions if you guys have any questions, and then we'll do some signing if anyone wants to get their book signed. So anyone have some questions?
No pressure, but if you do.
Yes.
I really am fascinated by the idea you described when you were in college at the sorority. I think that would make actually a really funny movie for a woman who appears to be straight coming out in the middle of the sorority. But do you have any more like details or funny stories about what happened?
Yes.
That was quite a time.
I have many. But first of all, I did take like a screenwriting course once, and I did start writing a screenplay of something
Did
like that.
you?
So maybe I should continue. Yeah, I was living in LA. I took a class with the guy who wrote High School Musical.
Oh my god. That's great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You should follow through with that.
I know, but he ended up getting he like quit halfway through the class, and I got a bad teacher.
You don't need that. You're
I did have
published.
one phone call with him. Anyway, one funny story is, so right after I came out, my sorority really wanted to appear like they wanted to be so supportive to the point where it was just so awkward sometimes. So they would have all these date parties, and this one was called Mai Tai, and that's basically your friends are supposed to set you up with a guy and get his tie, and then give it to you, and you wear it over your dress. And then when you get to the party, they say, "That's my tie." And then, so, thank you. So they're like going to give this announcement about the Mai Tai thing, and I see them realize, they look at me and they're like, "Shit. What are we gonna do? Because we have to make this very like inclusive." So while they're up there, they try to like make, and they're like, they say like, okay, then they're trying to explain the whole concept like I just explained to you, but they're like, and like it's okay if a girl is wearing it, if girls have ties too, or maybe hair ties. And then they're like, they keep being like he, and then the other one's like, or she.
Oh, no.
And everyone's staring at me, and I'm just turning bright red. And then there was also this, that was one thing. It was just, I invited a gay man, because I was like, this is too awkward, and I don't want to make it a thing.
Oh my god.
But my friends didn't secretly invite him. They were like, just tell us what you want us to do. We're gonna meet up here. Another situation was we had this song that it was so weird. It was like we did this like stomp routine, and it was like for the frats. And there was a song, and there were all these lines in it about like boys, like we love boys or something. And they replaced boys in every line with bays.
Oh no.
You know, like, have you ever heard of bay?
B-A-E.
Before anything else?
Yeah, it's like
It was like a very weird, maybe like Tumblr term
for
that,
your
like,
boo thing.
that maybe a few middle schoolers used.
They.
And so yeah, we all had to sing that, and some people were like, why did we change it to Bay? Why did we like just because Rebecca's in our sorority?
no.
And I was like, this is so awkward. You did not need to do this. I'd rather just not be part of it at all. So yeah, that's a little bit more about
At
that.
least you can laugh at it now.
I know, it's hilarious now thinking about it.
Yeah.
But being in that room, there were 200 people, and I was the only one who was out. Recently, like more of them have come out to me, but yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. A lot of people would secretly come out to me when they were drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions?
I think Sarah's right. You should pick up your screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, any writing project you want to pursue, I say you should.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second that motion.
Yes. All right.
This is great.
Awesome.